We have the Afghani people, the Iraq, the Congolese. I think there's a number of groups represented, and that's wonderful. It's wonderful that it takes part in a state that respects cultures, and this needs to be continued, and we'll take part in moving that forward.
So, all the very best for this afternoon's competition. Go Victoria and the Iraqis, maybe. I don't know.
I think we have time for one more song, sir. Is that all right, Mr. Priest?
Opa Gangnam Style.
The upcoming trip called The Spirit of Anzac, which I believe many of you here tonight are scheduled to take part in. You'll be departing on the 20th of April, and most of you will be returning back on the 3rd of May. So it'll be a very eventful trip for you.
Turkish tea is hot. Hot as the sun that beats down on the Anatolian plain, and hot as the cheerful enthusiasm that Turks show for their music, their food, their cities, their sports teams, and above all for their families. It is as hot as their joy of life lived in the moment. Turkish tea is brewed. No tea bags allowed. A glass of tea is offered in all circumstances. When you walk into a shop, in an office, in a home, and as such is a little token of peace.
That's the sort of things you do at universities, schools, hospitals, newspaper, television stations, all that sort of stuff. Your days are full. They're not. It is not a tourist sort of adventure, I suppose, or a tourist venture as such that you have your time to yourself, that you can relax, go at your own pace. It's very much bang, bang, bang. This is where you're going to next, and you've got to get in the bus and let's go. And you do things that, which is all around the dialogue and learning. You do things in terms of meeting people. This might be, I don't know who this particular guy might be. He might be Vice Chancellor of a university.
The tour into Gallipoli, Trinacoli, We were told that it will be 3 or 4 degrees in the morning. Ours was a bit unusual. It was quite mild, probably about 10, 15 degrees, and then warmed up during the day.
Yes, all sorts of clothes.
Now, something you'll get very used to. Amit behind the camera from all angles. Popped up everywhere. Lifestyle photographs.
You hold it the other way.
Something to bear in mind, Amit doesn't get off the phone. He works tirelessly. He interprets for us. You do a wonderful job, Amit. Thank you very much. Both of you.
But rather than a scarf, something a little bit bigger.
Yep.
So you can just drape it around your head and your shoulders. And you can buy lots of these there anyway. But and yeah, some tops that a little bit more modest, just out of respect and everything. But these, something like this is really good because it serves all sorts of purposes.
I'd like to let you know that indeed this is a name that some people gave to the social movement. However, himself, Fethullah Gülen, that I'm going to talk about, has defined the social movement as the following: the volunteers who are gathered around universal human values. Okay? So this is not something about just one value, but a universal values. So by the way, you know, since I'm an academic, at any time you can actually just stop me and ask questions. Okay? So briefly, I just would like to talk to you about what the social movement is. The first property in the sociological literature is that this is an inclusive movement, which means that people from all different backgrounds or demographics are represented. And without any discrimination, there is no formal membership. If you just feel that, you know, these thoughts are beneficial, then you can just act so.
Indeed, Anatolia was, in many ways, the cradle of this revolutionary religious movement, which subsequently spread to the 4 corners of the earth. It was the land of Turkey where the great apostle Paul first spread the good news of the gospel.
Very little understanding, very little knowledge of the country of Turkey before we went. It left me with a yearning to learn more, and it left me with a yearning to go back. So I think that itself says a lot.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is our 7th luncheon program. We're very privileged to have Chin Tan, the chairperson of the Victoria Multicultural Commission, with us here today, and he will be presenting around the topic of multicultural Australia in the Asian century. And today it gives us great pleasure to invite Professor Raylene Francis as our facilitator. Many of you will know Raylene Francis as the Dean of the Faculty of Arts at Monash University in Clayton. We know her as a close friend. When I say we, I mean the AIS and the network. We know her as a close friend.
Thank you, Ergan. It is my great pleasure today to facilitate this session, and I have an impressive list of really important people to acknowledge before we get on to our main speaker. We've come a long way, but I think we've still got a long way to go. And the challenge for us, I think, in the 21st century is to really embrace the opportunities that being part of Asia, as we are, and the presence of such a strong Asian population already in Australia makes that very clear. But how we embrace that opportunity, how we make the most of it in modern Australia is what our speaker, I think, will be talking to us about today. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Chin Tan.
Thank you, Ray. I must admit I'm delighted that I don't have to repeat the names that you mentioned and the places. You did a fine job there. I couldn't have done justice to that list. So I've been told by Ahmed Paula that I don't have to do those things. In all, since 1945, 7 million people have migrated to Australia. Today, 1 in 4 of Australia's 22 million people were born overseas. 44% were born overseas or had a parent who was born overseas. Our multicultural commitment ensures that we have vital government support for promoting Asia literacy at the forefront of our education system. Our multicultural base offers a ready and immense opportunity for us to develop an Asia-capable workforce. Australia's large and ever-increasing Asian community should serve as a ready resource for which we develop and have capabilities in attaining a sophisticated knowledge of Asian markets.
the bounties available on the ship on their own didn't equate to a fulfilling meal. So he put everything into a big pot and then added water and stirred and stirred and stirred and came up with a meal that many Muslims and Christians celebrate today as and known as Noah's pudding. So for those of you who haven't had an opportunity to taste Noah's pudding, tonight you'll experience something new.
So is to continue being a moderate voice, to continue to affirm we can all learn from one another, we can all practice our respective faiths and appreciate the diversity and what we might appreciate and learn from the tradition of another. We're a very important influence through our friendships, a moderating influence to prevent extremism of any kind taking root in our culture. So we as a people celebrate being on the same boat every day. We call it Melbourne, we also call it home. We also celebrate with every breath that we each take something we have in common, a much bigger boat that we all call Earth. Not just for our 7 billion plus human brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, but also the truly countless beings from the smallest ant up to the largest great blue whales.
In a gathering such as this in our wonderful country of Australia, we emphasise that God is the God of all humankind. That these principles of equality and fairness underpin Jewish life and are at one with the core values, particularly respect for and observance of the laws of Australia.
236 nationalities and 269 languages are spoken and 118 faiths in Victoria. I think most of us are here. And once again, thank you for putting us together in one ship to say we are all on the same boat.
Many narratives about prophets, and mainly almost every single prophet has a problem with their people, and they suffer from their people. Interestingly enough, when I look at the Noah's narrative in the Quran, I never come across single complaint or struggle from Noah's people inside the boat.